Well, here in the facility at Heartland Acres, Craig Johnson is Executive Director, and if you haven't seen this area, it truly is remarkable of all of the artifacts that they have from an earlier generation of agriculture and of just the people from this part of the state. I mean, I'm looking at a Waterloo boy, and I'm looking at a World War I doughboy. Correct. At the same time, which is pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, what you're seeing here, Ken, is in center court of the museum at Heartland Acres, and what you're talking about is the military exhibit, our tribute to the military, ag in the military, if you will. And so we've combined a couple of facets of the museum to bring together what did agriculture do in the military, World War I, World War II. And as you mentioned, you know, the Waterloo boys sitting here, right behind you is the Case SI, which was used in World War II on the battlefield. So there's a lot of stories being brought together here. It's not just all ag. We've had a couple of groups come through here and say, we didn't realize you guys had all this stuff. If you look over your head and you see all the rugs that have been done and hanging off the rafters and such, we've got ladies that come in and do rug hooking, and that brings a lot of color to the museum.
How did you get this place started?
Oh, long story, but it was a group of dedicated individuals back in 2003, and we all realized we had a great spot here in northeast Iowa, right on Highway 20. We're between Waterloo and Dubuque, not far out of Cedar Rapids, and close to, you know, everything. We're in the middle. And we knew that we had the right spot, we had the right people that came together, and the story we knew had to be about ag. And we just kept working on it. This is something that took place over the course of, say, 2003 to 2006, when we were actually designing, planning, building a funding structure for it. And, you know, things came together. I guess we got lucky, or we worked hard enough and made our own luck. But the result is a 45,000 square foot indoor campus today with an event center, the museum, the machine shed, the one-room schoolhouse, 4-acre lake outside that you saw earlier, in the apple orchard. So a lot of stuff came together at the right time, I think, for not only independence, but for the state of Iowa to bring this type of a facility in this area.
Well, it's an economic development venture without a doubt to bring people in here, an appreciation of the history, but it also seems to facilitate events, companies, and things like that. I know you have several events this week, and I detect that the seed industry and others have kind of caught on to this being a pretty good location for them.
Well, absolutely, and whether it's ag-related, we've had insurance companies come in here and do classes for their CEs. We've had schools, hospitals, you know, and the list keeps growing. We've got a pretty active event manager, Brian Bell, who you met earlier, and we're always looking for something else. Safety training, the pond clinic that's going to happen tonight and tomorrow. You know, it's just these things that we're thinking outside of the box. Yes, we're an ag museum and we're an event center, so what do we do to bring people here? I mean, ultimately is, if we bring people here from within Independence or from outside the area, Norway, as an example, we had a feature done on us by a magazine publisher in Norway recently, which that will run in August. And, you know, the things that we're doing are attracting people from around the world.
Well, I saw some of your maps and pins that you put in them of places around the world, and literally all over that there are populations, they've been here. Yeah,
the best thing for us is when we see this group come in, and we've gotten them through various entities that they end up here. But, I mean, we had a group of people from Germany earlier this year. They were in the U.S. for service training through John Deere. We've had groups from China here that were here on agricultural junkets, so to speak. And we get these people coming here, and it's great to see them when they walk in here and they look in this big open barn, 40-foot high ceilings, and their eyes pop. And you get these people from other countries and they can't fathom it. A gentleman from Australia, or Tasmania actually, was here 2 weeks ago. Large farmer down there, they raise some kind of a flower that's used to combat beetles, of all things. And this guy said, there's nothing I've seen like this, and I've traveled. He says, I've not seen anything like this anywhere else.
Well, I think what it shows is the progress of America. You know, if you go back to the 1930s, when the first of this equipment was coming out, we were, by today's definition, a third world nation. But we worked our way out of that through our innovation and mechanization.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head there. This is a testament to all those folks that came before us, and they toiled in the fields with the Waterloo boy, and we joke about it like, who would want to take that out in the field today? But imagine coming from having horses and all the other equipment that you see just outside the glass silo that's now it's all rusty and stuff and won't be used again. But those folks that were farming back then and the innovations that they came up with, we've got GPS today and we've got a lot of neat features in tractors. I've driven some of the best. But these guys that would have driven this Massey Harris Colt that's right behind me, they had to think they had it made the day that they got that from the dealer.
Well, no doubt about it. The Model T Ford may have been temperamental, but when it ran, it was the greatest technology that they had ever seen. And I tend to say the computer and all the stuff we have today is in effect a Model T Ford, because it's temperamental, but when it works, it's the greatest we've ever seen.
Yeah, that's true. I curse my machine every day, though. I don't know what to say about that. I guess what I'd like to do is I would like to come back to this place 100 years from now and to be able to talk to the people through the generations, 100 years from now and say, I can't believe they used to farm that way. Look at the stuff that they were doing and the extra efforts they put in. Why weren't they doing it the way we do it today?
Well, we are certainly hoping that 100 years from now we haven't had something disruptive to make it to where that this would be above the level of farming at that time.
Well, you know what? If that did happen, I'm sure we'll all get on these things, these old tractors. If that happens, we'll go back to it. I think human nature has a built-in survival instinct. I absolutely believe in that. We are going to survive one way or another. And just as you look back and you see the folks that did this or brought these machines online back then, we'll always make it. The human race will survive.
Well, Heartland Acres will broaden your thinking. It'll take you back in time. It'll also take you to a location to where you could bring friends and relatives if you want to show them something. And it'll also be a place that you could use for an event that you have, because I found this class act location over here. 450 people, is that your maximum audience?
Well, actually, we're fire rated up to 600, so that wouldn't be seated at tables, but 450, the section that you guys are using today is probably about 125, but we open up those 2 air walls, so you have the full event center, so you're at 450. The guys have gotten more in, and it's still okay. We got to take tables down for a dance or whatever, but good size event center, and it's flexible. We've got some other areas around the campus right in the buildings where we can also set up smaller groups. We again had to think outside of the box and say, hey, if we don't get a draw at the door, can we rent it for a meeting? And so though all those things happen, they pay bills, they make us function. We are doing the best we can. Anything like this for any community is always a challenge, and I'd like to think that we're a couple steps ahead of where we were last week, and that's all we can ever ask for.
Right. Paid admission to the museum is how much?
Paid admission to the Heartland Acres Museum, adults are $10, children 5 to 17 are $4, and we've got some other specials, and if you know enough people, there's $2 discount tickets all over the place. But yeah, it's we do have that charge. It helps pay the bills.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And how can people get in touch with the center?
Please give us a call anytime. It's 319-332-0123. You can always find us on the internet. It's heartlandacresusa.com. We're easy enough to find. I've been, I'll check out the web or the browsers, and we're pretty easily found anymore.
Okay. Craig, thank you very much for talking with us.
Thanks, Ken.